Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. Firefighters remain at the scene of a major fire at an apartment building in West Winnipeg that has left almost 200 people homeless. This was the scene on Quail Ridge Road near Sturgeon Road and Saskatchewan Avenue. Firefighters were called to this 45-unit building at about 7:15. They found thick black smoke and flames spreading quickly through the roof. Crews have been using aerial ladders and hoses to douse the fire. Now, we can tell you that everyone got out safely, but a firefighter was injured and taken to hospital in stable condition. WFPS Platoon Chief Brent Cheater spoke to reporters earlier this evening.
Right now, the building has sustained, as you can see, significant damage. Tenants will not be able to return to this building. It is structurally not sound at this point. We are going to try to get back into it to see if we can determine cause, but at this time it's under investigation. And as you can see, damage is significant.
Fire crews were able to rescue a number of pets from the building, but one cat is still missing. The fire paramedic service expects to be here for a long time yet and are asking people to avoid the area. Two people are in custody after Winnipeg police raided a business claiming to be Manitoba's first magic mushroom dispensary. Winnipeg police searched this business, Magic Mush, in Osborne Village today. It just opened last Saturday. It sold magic mushrooms, which are banned substances in Canada. Winnipeg police say officers with the Drug Enforcement Unit were aware of the store. Police say they have been watching droves of people coming and going and warn that more properties could be searched.
We can say hundreds. We've been monitoring the traffic in and out of here. We know for a fact how they're operating inside the store, and we know that they're going to another location to resupply this location.
A lawyer representing the store's owners wouldn't say who had been arrested or whether the store will remain open, but told CBC they would have more to say after the long weekend. A Ukrainian woman living in Winnipeg has started an emotional journey home. Hannah Sadorchenko left Ukraine with her son after Russia invaded, but her husband stayed to defend the country. He was killed earlier this month, and as Josh Crabb reports, his widow is now on a mission to fulfill his longtime dream.
35-year-old Andriy Sidorchenko's widow says his ability to smile in a war zone is reflective of his personality. Outside Winnipeg's airport, before beginning a long journey back to Ukraine, Hannah Sidorchenko says her husband stayed positive despite the dangers around him.
He was always telling that he was a very positive person, and what he was telling is that he will return and they will live together here.
Hannah spoke Friday through translator and friend Oksana Lazarenko. Through close relatives of one of Andriy's friends and fellow soldiers, she found out May 5th he died in a battle in the eastern city of Bakhmut. Now she's returning to Ukraine with Lazarenko to learn more about the circumstances of his death and find his body.
She needs to find strength in herself. It's pretty hard.
Hannah says she's heard 2 other soldiers were killed in the same battle and 2 were injured. Andriy was serving as a drone operator. His role was to check battlefields for Russian enemies to minimize losses to the Ukrainian armed forces. Like so many others, he gave up his job, which was in construction, to serve. Hannah and their son Rostislav moved to Poland before coming to Canada. Andriy wanted to come to Canada before Russia invaded, but once the war started, he had to stay and help defend his home country. Hannah says Andriy was collecting pictures of Canada. He worked as a welder and wanted to ply his trade here. It's her hope she can find his body.
It was his dream to come to Canada.
They plan to stay in Kyiv and work with lawyers, volunteers, and people on the front lines. The congregation of Soul Sanctuary Church paid for Hannah's flight. She wants to give her husband a funeral and then bring his ashes back to the country he had hoped to call home. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The twinning of the Trans-Canada Highway to the Manitoba-Ontario border is one step closer to reality. Work on 700 meters of Highway 1 from Falcon Lake to the border will begin immediately. The work will ensure the Manitoba portion of the highway and the Ontario portion match. Then comes 2 years of consultation and 2 years of planning to finish the final 17 kilometers.
We need to have this connectivity to get our goods to market. This is the Trans-Canada Highway that needs to be twinned. And it should have been done a long time ago.
Premier Heather Stephenson says they will consult with Indigenous communities and local landowners on the design. She also plans to work with other provincial premiers to call on the federal government to fund infrastructure work. Well, the Winnipeg Sea Bears have their first day of training camp under their belt ahead of opening day next Saturday. It's the inaugural season for the team, which became part of the Elite Canadian Basketball League when it expanded into the city last year. 6 local players are taking part in the camp, with 4 claiming spots during the team's tryouts. Head coach Mike Taylor says having local talent on the team is important.
We want to have a Winnipeg influence because we want to connect with the city, number one. We want to establish ourselves as really connected with the programs, number two. And again, you know, you want to tap into the local market. So not only players, but staff, I think we've done that. And again, we want to build the Sea Bears to stay. And we want really, I think the local part of it, the local flavor here in Winnipeg is a really big piece.
The team takes on the visiting Vancouver Bandits at Canada Life Centre on May 27th. As you may recall, this isn't the first pro basketball team to play in Peg City. The CBC's Marjorie Dowhouse recently sat down with Manitoba Basketball Hall of Famer Ross Wedlake for a look back at the history of pro basketball in Winnipeg. You can see their full conversation on our CBC Manitoba YouTube channel. Well, just in time for what's expected to be a warm and sunny long weekend, most City of Winnipeg spray pads will open tomorrow. 19 of the city's 23 spray pads will open daily from 9:30 a.m. until 8:30 p.m., including holidays, including Holiday Monday. The Fort Rouge, Norquay, Old X, and Shaughnessy spray pads are not open yet. They are free to use. Now, if you're wondering whether it'll be hot enough to use those spray pads this weekend, I will have your full long weekend weather forecast coming up next.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. The trade and upgrade event is on now.
Well, let's take a look at your long weekend forecast now. And, you know, it's not going to be a bad Saturday, save for a little bit of wind. We're starting the day with, you know, a mix of sun and cloud generally across the province. Could see an early morning shower in northeastern Manitoba. Otherwise, a nice Saturday and a nice Sunday on tap for much of the province. We do see a little bit of clouds starting to move in by the time we get into Sunday, and that could bring us some showers late Sunday into Monday in parts of central Manitoba. Looking at our temperatures, we are expecting sunshine when we wake up in the morning tomorrow across most of the province. 10 degrees for Winnipeg and Kenora, 8 first thing in the morning in Brandon, and a little bit of cloud cover in northern Manitoba, 7 in Thompson, and breezy conditions in Churchill, where we will see winds bringing in cooler temperatures off the Hudson Bay coast. Into the afternoon, temperatures warming up into the high 20s for southern Manitoba, 26 in both Portage and Winnipeg, 25 in Brandon, and a sunny 12 degrees in Thompson. Looking at our long weekend forecast, the sunshine continues into Sunday and Monday, 29 degrees for your holiday Monday, 25 for Tuesday. Then we start to see a chance of showers moving through the later part of next week. And that is your late news for this Friday. Thank you for being with us tonight a little bit later. You can stay updated on news all weekend on CBC Radio 1 and on our website, cbc.ca/Manitoba. Have a great long weekend.